The voter registration race is on. In swing states Georgia and Arizona, the cutoff to register online or in person is just 2 weeks from today, October 7th. October 7th is also the final cutoff in Arkansas, Indiana, Kentucky, Texas, Florida, Mississippi, Tennessee. Already intense national action to boost registration has broken records, but the push to get people registered and ready for November is not over. I want to bring in the CEO of Vote.org, Andrea Haley, and the president and executive director of Rock the Vote, Carolyn DeWitt. Also back with us is Mark McKinnon. Okay, Andrea, you got, I think, just brand new voter registration numbers, and including key battleground states like Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania. So, Dish, what do you got for us?
Yep, this year we're seeing a record number of young people participate and register to vote. Right now we have increases post-National Voter Registration Day in both Georgia and Pennsylvania. But notably, one of the things that we're really watching is that 18-year-olds are spiking this year. At Vote.org, we've registered over 300,000 18-year-olds, and that's more than at this point in 2020.
So, Carolyn, does that match the energy you're seeing?
Yeah, absolutely. We've registered nearly 1 million voters so far this year, and we're focusing on efforts primarily on that, the 41 million members of Gen Z who are eligible to vote, 16 million of which are able to vote in their first presidential election.
You've got so many partnerships at Rock the Vote. I'm looking at the list: Boost Mobile, Miami Heat, even running a mini election with the Peanuts gang and NSYNC's Lance Bass, where people can vote, I guess, for which character they think should be president. We've got a little clip of that.
Look, Snoopy is looking pretty confident. He's all like, it's gonna be me. But I've got to go with the most sincere candidate. That's Charlie Brown, who's trying so hard to do the right thing that he says, I'm driving myself crazy. We can relate, right? All right, now it is your turn. Go to peanutsrocksthevote.com to cast your ballot in the Peanuts election. And while you're there, you can also register to vote in the real election for this November.
Carolyn, as you track this kind of stuff, what works for you? What's really connecting with the folks who are first time ever eligible to vote or in that young demo?
Yeah, so the reality is young voters are new voters. So they're going through this process for the first time, but we don't rely on them to come to us. We reach young voters where they are through social media, campuses, brands they shop with and where they work, but also through these cultural touch points with trusted messengers, with Peanuts, the WNBA, the WNBPA. You know, last night in the playoff game, fans were reminded that you could register or check your voter registration status. So we're really breaking down the steps to voting, starting with registration, because that is the first barrier for these new voters, but also leaning into the issues that matter to them. We know that Gen Z is very passionate about the future of this country and about the issues at stake.
So, Carolyn, what do you do between now and Election Day? We know that a number of these states, it will be too late to register, although a few do obviously have same-day voter registration. But what do you do from now to then?
Yeah, so as you know, it's not just about voter registration. It's about walking them through the process step by step to cast their ballot. So as you mentioned, you know, a lot of our partners, we build election centers with them, or we have tools on our website at rockthevote.org. It's really a one-stop shop for voters to get everything from registration, check the registration, find state-specific information on policies like voter ID laws that have increased over the last couple of years. But then also my favorite tool is actually the ballot information tool that shows voters not only who and what are on their ballot, but also the endorsements that are out there, which editorial boards, which organizations are endorsing the candidates and the ballot measures. Young voters can really identify who most aligns with their values.
Well, Andrea, we all know that there was a little bit of a surge when Taylor Swift decided that she wanted to get people to link, frankly, to your team at Vote.org, encouraging people to register. But what do you folks have going? Because the knock on a lot of young voters has been they just don't show up on Election Day. So what do you do with all those new people who have registered to vote?
I think the real important thing is a registration is only as good is actually getting someone to the ballot box. For us, we really focus in on once somebody is registered, how are we communicating with them, telling them, when early voting has started, where their polling locations are, how they can participate, when the last day that we recommend they vote by mail is, that sort of thing, so that people have all the information they need to actually show up and vote ahead of or on Election Day. So we also will partner with students on campuses all across the country to make sure that they're spreading that information to their peers. For National Voter Registration Day, we partnered with over 100 celebrities to also get information out about registration and get out the vote this year. And then we think it's really important, once someone is registered, that they go on and commit to registering at least 3 other people. Really, all of us, you see the big influencers like Taylor Swift, but all of us have to remember that we're all influencers in our lives and that we are going to be the best people to communicate directly with our friends and family and loved ones. So this year, everybody has to do their part by registering themselves, but then also getting everyone else to participate as well.
So, Mark, if record registration turns into record turnout, and we also know, and both of these fine women have talked about misinformation and how that, has been a disincentive for some people to even register to vote. Does record turnout increase the likelihood that legal challenges could delay the outcome? I mean, best case scenario, right, is record registration means record turnout. But does it make it more likely that we might not know who is president on election night or for some time after?
Yes is the answer. I think anytime you have something new in the equation, it gives ammunition to people to say, hey, something different's going on here. But I think the real story of this election is not going to be undecided voters. I think it's going to be unregistered voters who newly register and vote for the first time, that these organizations are doing such a great job of. We're just hearing about massive numbers of newly registered voters. And I think there's sort of a conventional wisdom that a lot of that may be helping Harris. But I'll tell you, I've just seen some videos recently of Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA that target young conservatives, massive rallies on campus. So there's lots of stuff happening. And I think the thing that's interesting about the polling, too, is the polling looks at history. It models things with a mirror, but not a periscope looking ahead. So it's looking at models from 2020 when people weren't really very excited about that election. There's a lot of excitement about this election. So I think that it's very hard to predict because of these newly registered voters. And I think we will look back after this election and say that they are the ones that made the difference. As you noted, it's up to 40 million voters. That's 20% of the electorate. That's huge.